What we have here is Bernie Sanders talking about healthcare, something that we all need. So Bernie lays the case out perfectly on healthcare for all. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
You and I have had many talks about the universality of healthcare and why it's so weird that America doesn't have it. We made some people say a very big step, but in the grand scheme of things, a small step with the prescription drug discussion, taking these 10 prescription drugs and allowing Medicare to negotiate for them the same way Costco negotiates for a better price on peanut butter because they're a bulk buyer. And everybody's out there calling it communism and socialist price fixing and all this kind of stuff. It's a little step. It's a meaningful $50 billion step, but it's a little step.
It's not everybody. It's just the ruling class. It's just the pharmaceutical industry that makes tens of billions of dollars in profit every single year by charging us the highest prices in the world. It's the Chamber of Commerce. It's the big corporations. Oh, my God. Imagine that. The government is actually doing something for working people to lower the cost of prescription drugs. This must be communism. This is awful and horrible. All right, 80% of the American people support Medicare negotiating prices. So it's not everybody. The vast majority of the people understand that the pharmaceutical industry is incredibly greedy. But we have got to go further. This, as you indicate, is a very tepid step forward. We're going to bring legislation in which does something very simple. It says, you know what? In America, we should not be paying 10 times more for the same drugs as Canada or Europeans are paying. We're going to pay the same prices. And I'm sure the industry will go crazy and put all kinds of 30-second ads on TV. But bottom line is, that's what the American people want. Healthcare is the same thing. Our healthcare system is totally broken. It should not be employer-based healthcare. We've got to do, as you and I have chatted about many times, what Canada, what other countries do. Healthcare is a human right, not a privilege. We should not be spending $13,000 for every man, woman, and child, while 85 million are uninsured or underinsured.
I will say, as a guy who gets accused of being a communist a lot, how do you explain to people that what this bill is about prescription drugs is causing people who wish to sell into Medicare, which is a major distributor of drugs, to negotiate a price? To negotiate a price, not government control of the manufacture of drugs. And if you don't want to negotiate a price, guess what? Sell it on the free market outside of Medicare. That's your choice.
This is such a radical idea, Ali. It's what every other major country in the world does. Everyone. It's what the Europeans do, the Canadians do.
That's
we are
how
the
radical
only
it is.
country. We are the only country in the world that says to the drug company, oh, you want to charge, half of this is really crazy stuff. Half of the new drugs now coming onto the market. You know what their treatment is? You know how much it costs? Over $200,000. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. If people can't afford it, Medicare is going to go bankrupt or premiums are going to go soaring. So what we have got to tell the pharmaceutical industry is we want research, we want development, we want you to deal with cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, all the terrible illnesses out. But all your drugs in the world don't mean anything if people cannot afford it. The function of the pharmaceutical industry is to help cure disease, not to make billionaires even richer.
Absolutely. So, you know what drives me crazy? All of us need affordable health care. None of us want to be bankrupted by the healthcare industry stealing our money. And what I don't get, including in our room, for the conservatives in our room, that somehow object to policies that ensure that if they get sick, their relatives get sick, they don't go bankrupt. This is how effective hate is. This is how effective divide and conquer is. You let people hate among each other, right? And this is what you're able to achieve. I saw a TikTok from Bernie, and I'm going to look it up and I'm going to post it in its own piece later on today, where Bernie identifies exactly what the plutocracy has done. It has turned us against each other using race, gender, and all these things. And so that we take our eye off the ball, and then they sweep it through. No sensible person can say, how can the United States government pay for the initial development of most drugs to prove their viability, transfer the patent to a drug company, allow a drug company to charge whatever you can, and when the government comes back and say, no, we actually paid for that, we are not going to allow you to do that, the same people that you're helping you're not helping liberals, you're helping liberals, progressive, anarchists, conservatives, and everybody else to go ahead and try to make their lives better, more cost effective. And what do? Because they're sick in the mind with that ideological rump, they decide and say, I don't like that. And the pharmaceutical companies run to the bank and say, look at those suckers. They just make it so easy for us to rip them off. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.